Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I asked you all in a poll on my channel what kind of recipes you guys want to see, and a lot of you overwhelmingly mentioned you want to see more air fryer recipes. So today I'm going to show you a really easy air fryer version of stuffed bell peppers. Now these are going to be really high in protein and super healthy, low carb, and most importantly, very, very delicious. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna dice up some onion. Now I have a Vidalia onion. These are also called sweet onions. You can use whatever kind of onion you want, but preferably a yellow or a sweet onion. This is gonna give a lot of flavor to your stuffed bell peppers. Now traditionally you can make, stuffed bell peppers in the oven. Sometimes people make them in a Dutch oven. But I like to make it in the air fryer because not only is it less messy and just way easier with the cleanup, but when you make it in the air fryer, you get this nice cheesy crust on top that just really hits the spot and totally steps up the game with stuffed bell peppers. Now I'm gonna set my sweet onions aside here. Next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna take some shallot and we are going to dice it as well. I'm just gonna cut it long ways. Do the same thing with this other piece. And then we're gonna rotate it and dice this way. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna saute all of these onions, and so they're gonna cook down anyways. This just makes sure that they all cook at the same timing and there's not, one piece is undercooked, one piece is overcooked. Lastly, I'm going to press 3 garlic cloves. If you don't have fresh garlic or you just don't really wanna mess with fresh garlic, you can also use the minced garlic that is comes in like a jar. That is perfectly fine to use for this as well. The last vegetable prep is going to be our bell pepper. Now you can use whatever kind of bell pepper you want, but I suggest using either a yellow or an orange bell pepper. Red is a little bit too sweet and green is a little bit too bitter for my taste. So that's why I like to use yellow or orange. But of course, whatever is your preference, that's what you can use. I'm just gonna cut it in half and just break it off like this. And then we're gonna cut out this middle piece here. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Take out this middle piece. And we're gonna make sure that we have all of the stem and the seeds removed. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to set our stove temperature to about medium, low heat for now. And the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to saute the onions and the scallion and the garlic to get all that flavor out of there before we add in our meat. My pan is nice and hot. I'm gonna be using a non-stick pan, but of course you can use whatever kind of pan you want. You can use an iron skillet or a steel pan. Those are fine as well. Just the temperature is going to be different because they're very hot. So that's why I like to use non-stick, because I feel like I have a little bit of better control of the cook of whatever I'm making for the stuffed bell peppers. I'm gonna take some avocado oil spray it right in there. Although this is non-stick, I do like a little bit of extra non-stick factor just before I add anything in there. I'm gonna start by adding in some of my garlic. And I have this on a low temperature because I don't wanna overcook any of the onions or the garlic. We're gonna let this cook for about 10-20 seconds. We only want it to get aromatic. I don't want it to start cooking too fast. That is nice and aromatic already. And I am going to add in my shallots. and saute all of those together. Next, I'm going to add in some of my sweet onion. And we're gonna cook this down until it's about translucent golden brown, not crispy. I don't want it to cook too much because we are gonna put this in the air fryer later, so it's gonna continue cooking. But I wanted to get that nice caramelized flavor on the onion. I'm just sauteing all the garlic, scallion, and sweet onion here. Get it nice and even on the pan. And we're gonna give this a moment to just cook untouched. I'm gonna spray a little bit more avocado oil spray. The reason I'm using the spray and not the actual oil itself is because I don't want too much of the oil. I'm gonna be adding ground beef later, so that has its own fat as well, and I don't want it to be too oily in the pan. That's also another reason why it's preferable to use a nonstick pan, because it's already nonstick. You don't need too much oil in there, and we want to minimize the amount of oil that we're actually using. So it's nice and aromatic. Let's add in some salt, just a bit. We're going to add in salt later on as well. Black pepper. A bit of onion powder. This is all to taste, so just kind of play around with how much you actually want in there. That's some Italian seasoning, and lastly, some smoked paprika. And let's saute this all together. Our onions are starting to get nice and translucent, so at this step, I want to add in some gochujang paste, just a little bit, about half a teaspoon. This is chili paste, so it's going to add in a little bit of spice with a hint of sweetness. And then I'm also going to add in some tomato paste, about equal parts of both. And let's combine this all together. Now we're ready to step up the flavor, okay? So before we add our ground beef, I'm gonna add in some chopped bacon. So I just took 2 strips of bacon and cut it into tiny strips. And I'm gonna let the bacon cook down. It's really gonna add in so much flavor to this dish. And some extra protein, some extra fat. That's again why we also didn't want to use too much oil with the onions, because the bacon is going to render a lot of fat as well. And I'm going to combine it with my onions to get all the flavor from the onions into the bacon. Now, of course, if you don't like bacon or you don't eat bacon, you can also put in turkey bacon, that's fine. I just think that bacon gives a nice little difference in texture, difference in flavor, which is why I love adding it to my stuffed bell peppers. Make sure if you have any of that tomato paste on your spatula to just scrape it down. We want to make sure that it continues to cook with everything in this pan. We're going to raise the temperature just a little bit to medium. And I'm gonna leave this alone for about 30 seconds to 1 minute, just so I can make sure that everything is cooking in the center of the pan. I've turned the heat off, that is nice and cooked. I'm just gonna set this aside in a separate bowl. Turning my heat back on, I'm now gonna add in my ground beef. I am using 85% lean ground beef. I recommend using between 80 to 85%. You wanna make sure you have some extra fat in there. It brings a lot of flavor. And I didn't wipe anything from the pan. I wanna make sure I'm getting the flavor from all those onions and the bacon into the ground beef as well. We're gonna add a couple dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Just a bit, just for some added flavor. and salt, black pepper. Let's mix this all together and keep breaking apart the ground beef. If you want to make this dish a little bit more spicy, you could add some more of the gochujang or chili paste at this step as well, but I don't want this too spicy. I only want mild spice just for this particular dish. But if you add that chili paste here as well, it's gonna add so much flavor to every bite. I'm gonna turn the heat off. Again, we're putting this in the air fryer, so I don't wanna overcook the meat because it's gonna continue cooking in the air fryer. So it's about at like the medium rare stage at this point, and I'm just gonna put this into the same bowl with the onions and the bacon. I'm not gonna put in any of the fat that was rendered from the ground beef. I've cooked all the meat and the onions, and now to step this up to make it a little more creamy and to add a little bit extra protein, I'm gonna add in some cottage cheese. We're not gonna add in too much, about 1/4 cup. And we're just gonna combine this all together. I'm gonna take this mixture that we made and we're going to put this into the bell pepper. Just as much as you can fit in there, that's how much you wanna put in. This is such a great low carb and high protein meal. Super easy to make. And it's a really great meal prep too. You could make a bunch of these and you can have them for lunch, you can have them for dinner. Now for the air fryer step. So I'm gonna put in one of these liners into my air fryer tray. If you're interested in purchasing these, I do have an Amazon link down below. And if you're interested in purchasing this air fryer, I also have a discount code in my description. I'm gonna take my stuffed peppers and I'm gonna put them into the tray like this and throw them into the air fryer. I've set it to the air fry setting at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to air fry this for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna check it at 10 minutes and see how much more time it needs. All right, it's been 10 minutes. Let's take these out and take a look. Cooking absolutely how we want it. We're gonna add in some cheese at this step. I have just some shredded Mexican blend cheese. Use whatever kind of shredded cheese you want. I'm gonna move this over a little bit, and I'm gonna add in this cheese just right on top of the meat. We're gonna let this finish cooking in the air fryer for the last 5 minutes. Here are our finished air fried stuffed bell peppers. So cheesy, it's so fragrant. I cannot wait to dig in. Now, you can enjoy this as is, or you could top it with some sour cream. That's another really delicious way to enjoy these. Let's do a little cross section here. I'm gonna cut into this one. Take a look at this. So delicious. Let's do a little taste test here. Cheers. So flavorful, so delicious and cheesy, high in protein, low in carb. It was really easy to make in the air fryer. And I love the nice cheese melt that you get in the air fryer. It just takes the cooking time down from the bell pepper. When you have to put the bell pepper in the oven, it takes so much longer, so much more effort. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this air fryer stuffed bell pepper recipe. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, hit that notification bell to never miss a tasty upload. Till next time.